Warning! The following video is over-exaggerated. Most opinions shared aren't accurate to our thoughts and feelings. Because seriously, this is the dumbest video we have ever made. Hello Nibbernet, welcome to Set Theory, the only show with more powers than JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So today, we are about to uncover the twisted, hidden anomalies with our counting systems, which the authorities seemingly are trying to hide from us. So, let's start off simple. We all know from our elementary math class that 2 plus 2 is 4 and that 4 minus 1 is 3, right? But what if I told you that it all is a lie? I know I thought it was impossible at first too, but in fact, there is a tiny little butterfly affecting wrinkle in the basis for algebraic arithmetic that depletes everything that math is built upon. So first, let's cover some bases for all you little pumps and little Johnnies out there. As you probably know, addition in math is when you put two amounts together and combine their attributes. Addition always increases the amount which is outputted, unless at least one of the numbers is negative. Everyone is familiar with the counting numbers, also known as the integers, and zero in most cases. These amounts are representative of how many whole things there are in any scenario. Say you have a cube of metal. It doesn't matter how much metal is in the cube, we still call it one cube of metal. Therefore, if we divide the cube in half, we create two cubes of metal. If you take away both cubes, you're left with nothing, which we note as zero. Some things in the real world seemingly follow this rule, while others are determined by their usual size, so much that they get called fractions of whole numbers. If you divide an apple, you get half of an apple. If you add something many times to itself, we call it multiplying. And if you multiply something many times to itself, we call it exponentiating. If you add something negative to something positive, we use a shorthand by saying that the negative number is positive and also doing the inverse function of adding, which we call subtraction. Subtraction exists to answer the question, what is x if x plus y equals z? Which is answered by subtracting y from both sides, isolating x, and getting that x equals z minus y. In the same vein, multiplying has an inverse cousin of his too. Here we answer the question again, but with times, and use the function that divides x, which also is called division. If you look closely, you can observe that if you divide anything by 1, you get the same thing, which also is true with adding, if you add 0. Some of us hardcore hipster math people have maybe heard of a thing called division by zero. Everyone knows that 1 divided by 2 is 0.5. But what is 1 divided by 0? If you type it into a calculator, it says error. Something times 0 should become 1, but anything times 0 equals 0. Contradiction alert! You may think that you just can say that infinity times 0 equals 1, but infinity isn't a number. And even if it was, does it mean infinity times 2 times 0 equals 2? I don't think so. Even if you use limits, which is to approach the problem continuously in some matter, the answer changes depending on the way you approach from. In this case, everyone is content with this approach to the problem, since context is often needed in math anyways. But let's actually get into the problem here. If you take times a level further and multiply a number many times with itself, you get exponentiating, as already stated, also known as powers. If you, as always, then ask yourself how you can find, for example, the number you multiply with itself, you use the root in that case, when x to the power of something is equal to z. When you talk about powers, you need to have another function to find out the exponent though, because x to the power of y isn't the same as y to the power of x all of the time. That is the logarithmic function. problem arises with 0, as things do. 0 to the power of anything positive just becomes 0, since 0 times 0 is 0. If you write out the relation 0 to the power of 4 is equal to 0 to the power of 7, then you are supposedly correct. But if you do log 0 for both sides, it becomes 4 is equal to 7! Oh no! Contradiction alert! But you may think you can't use logarithms with 0, since you need to divide by 0 to get the answer. Then you have 1. 1 is exactly the same deal. 1 to the power of 9 is equal to 1 to the power of 3.5. And therefore 9 is equal to 3.5. And because of that, math is broken, and 1 is the loneliest asshole. Every number is equal to every other number! Sans is NES confirmed! What the frick? Come on guys, smash the like button! Or maybe it is mathematically impossible to use the logarithm of 1 or 0 for this issue. But that sounds ridiculous! Even more so when you consider that we working on this series never have been wrong in our entire lives about anything in any manner. It would just suck to be fake. But hey, that's just a theory. A set theory. End of proof. Thank you for watching this shit video. Please don't hate us. I didn't understand anything about what I said, I just read the script. Seriously though, I hope you didn't enjoy just a prank, bro, and see you next time. But there's never gonna be a next time because I'm going to kill myself now. Just a prank, bro. Fuck off. Wait, that's the wrong series. Why am I still rambling? Bye bye.